Are you all not aware that you have a class now?
Mom,
Okay.
sometimes it is not mentioned in the people don't know.
Okay, so what I'll do is every morning, the day we have class, I think your class you have Monday and Tuesday. So before the class, maybe in the morning, I will inform you along with the link. So that will be fine, I hope.
Yes, mom.
Sure. I thought because you've got the timetable, so maybe you guys are aware. But doesn't matter. It's always better to remind, and that I'll do. I'll do. I never thought that it will be like this. Okay, today we are going to take up a new chapter, and that is called A Photograph. That is by, it's a poetry that's by Shirley Toulson. We'll do that. Now, the poetic device and all, I remember I had sent you the PPT of the poetry and its tool. If I haven't, remind me, then I will send it again to you. And today we'll take up a completely new one, that is a photograph. And before we do, I would like to have a small mind map kind of a thing. Now, can you tell me something? Two things, two divisions I'll make. One is photograph, one is mother. So, what are the words that come to your mind when I say photograph? What are the natural adjectives I would say? What adjectives come to your mind? Yeah, yeah, okay. Anything else? Others also? Camera. What about you, Arumita? What comes naturally to your mind when I say photograph? What about you, Jayant, Vanshika,
Mom,
Vani,
memories.
everybody?
Ma'am,
Okay,
sketch.
okay, okay. What else?
Ma'am, something artistic.
Come again, beta.
Ma'am, something artistic.
Something artistic. Oh, okay. What else?
Ma'am, a picture.
Excuse mom.
Yeah, yeah.
Mom are not attendees. Some people can remove each other. Some people are removing. So, mom, you can turn them attendees first.
No, I know, but I just. But that's really unfortunate. You guys, I think in 11th standard, this is not expected out of any one of
Ma'am, that was
any
happening
one
in
of
the last class also.
So somebody should have told me, beta. Somebody should have told me. Next time, before we begin the class, I'm going to do just that. That's really sad. I thought that you guys are matured enough, so I never bothered to do this kind of a moral policing. That would I would say it's not required, at least not in amongst you. I always expected one of the best classes to be 11th A. I think so. So slowly, do I change my opinion about you? A little bit of discipline is what is called from, and the teacher need not do that for you, beta. It's not that I have to keep reminding you what is to be done and all that. It's a natural thing. It comes to you on your own. Any one of you amongst you would like who's interested in joining the defense services? Anybody who's keen on giving your NDA or something? Who's that? Just a second. In the last few, let me see who all are present. I'm marking you as present as well simultaneously. Yes. Who said that? Yes, ma'am, I want to join. Okay. You okay. Now, the first rule, that's what I have learned in my 20 years of association with defense services, that, discipline comes naturally to you. Nobody else should do that for you. It goes for each one of us. Beta. Why should a teacher make you an attendee compulsorily, making you, bind you, shout at you? In the classroom also I've seen that if you are making a ruckus, then the teacher has to intervene and say a few horrible words just to keep you quiet. I don't think it's required at all, and not with all of you. Next time onwards, I would expect that each one of you will be self-disciplined. Okay. On that note, all of you, and Arav, any help from my side for preparation of NDA later also? It's an open thing for each one of you, but not just that. If you need any requirement, any help on the in terms of like when you guys appear for your SSP and all, and you can always seek help. My husband is a defense officer, so he can help you, guide you a little bit in that. You're most welcome all on in every possible manner, right? Yeah. Okay. Now coming to the chapter. Yeah, we were already doing photographs. Some of you said memories. Some of you said pictures. Somebody said those. What more did you add? Lively, and what else? Okay, editing. Okay. What else? Anybody else?
Sketch.
Okay. Okay. One
An
second.
instant of time.
Okay. Okay. And I would, yes, Sarah? Colors, yes, that is the most, in fact, I was just going to add that. Colors, vibrance, that is what is important. And then you have happiness and sorrow, both. You know, some photographs remind you of happy moments of life, some remind you of sadness as well. Then some people become memories, like in the sense they are no more with us. So when you see the photographs, you always feel that had they been alive, life would have been very different. So that is also there. Some people who are alive, very much with you kicking here, then you see them and you remember those moments which you have spent together. And at times, you know, with you friends, especially, what happens? Little lies that you give, you know, at times which are captured in your photograph, and then when you sit together, you keep those beautiful smiles you will give to each other and say, "See, this is the day we sneaked out. We did not inform our parents or friends or somebody, and we took the photographs." So that time also you feel that okay, this was a little secret that we need to carry on. It's a common thing. We all do that. See, I'm not a separate person, so sometimes quite a few second part of the poetry, that is mother. Now tell me, now the class, everybody, it's not just a few of you, everybody, what are the words that come naturally to you when I say mother?
Mom, caring.
Yes.
Loving.
Yes. What else? Lots of them. Yeah. Generous. Yes. Bhavya, what happened,
Mom,
beta?
selflessness.
Selfless. Yes. Shashwat, Siddhant, Siddharth, what about kind? Why only one is answering? I know Arav is fast, but others, what happened? Pragya, Akshita, Dishita,
Mom, guardian.
guardian. Yes. What else? What are the other words that come to your mind when I say mom?
Hardworking, sacrificing.
Very good. Hardworking and sacrificing. Yes. Strict also at times, or is she always giving?
Mom, sometimes strict.
Sometimes strict. Yeah, exactly. She'll be very strict. Will nicely give you to spank on your back and then cry herself. That why did she hit you? Yes.
Yes.
What else? What else can be the words which come to your mind?
Understanding.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Taman, what about you, beta? Kanha is also there. Each one of you. I want
Wise, experienced.
experienced, wise. Yes.
Mom, she could also act childish at times.
She could act childish, obviously. She was also a young girl some time back. So obviously those were things don't disappear fast. Yeah, Vanshika?
Friend.
A very good friend. Yes, most important. And she means well. She's your well wisher. Most important. See, every other relationship comes with an expectation. Even father, when the father, he looks up to you in the sense that tomorrow you will keep his legacy on. You know, you will become something in life. That's an expectation which is there. With the mother, I think even I've seen criminals' mother. You know, children who have become grown up to become criminals, the mother is the only one who's not ready to accept that fact. I saw that one of the worst cases possible. So many of them, in fact, when they come on the news, these women who are the mothers, they cannot accept the fact that the son has done anything wrong or the daughter has done something wrong. So obviously, very you can say selfless that way. Yeah. Okay. So these two words which are there, they're very crucial or integral to this particular chapter, that is a photograph. Now coming to this poetry, we let's begin by discussing the theme first, and then it makes it very easier for you to understand the poetry itself. Though it is not very difficult, but yes, the poetic devices that have been used, you need to a little bit, you have to think over it. Now, for example, there are three things that have been dealt in this particular poem. The first one, it talks about the transient state of humans, meaning that the humans are mortals. They will die. We are not born immortal. We will, if we are born today, we are going to die tomorrow. So the transient means something which is not permanent. Transient, transient state of humans, meaning a person who's not immortal. So transient state of humans is what is dealt here. The second one is it talks about the loss, pain, and separation. I repeat again, it talks about the loss, pain, and separation. And finally, the death. Finally, the death of a person. This particular poem talks about first the transient state of humans, meaning nothing is permanent. Second one, it talks about the loss, pain, separation, and death of a human. The last, not the least, it is about nostalgia. This word nostalgia means memories, basically. So, nostalgia, how time takes its toll. How time takes its toll. Meaning, every day is not the same day. See, when you see, in fact, your own parents' photograph, what they were in their childhood, what they became in their young, that is adulthood, and right now when they are there in their middle age, they look very different. In fact, very few people tend to maintain the same health also. They either there is a deterioration or there is a gaining of weight. Fine, so some difference comes with age. So this is like nostalgia, and time takes its own toll, meaning every day is not the same. Change is inevitable. That is the core point of this poetry. That is, change is inevitable, meaning change is always there. It is the harsh reality of life. Now, there is a proverb in English which you must have heard earlier: time and tide wait for none. I repeat, time and tide wait for none. Can anybody explain to me what it means? Deshita? Siddharth?
Yes,
Anybody? Yeah, Siddharth. What is the meaning of?
ma'am, it says that time never waits for someone to like achieve anything or do anything,
Mhm.
and it goes with tide, the water tide. They don't wait for someone to escape or just um rescue
Yeah,
themselves. It
yes,
just
it has
comes.
its own interval. Yeah, the same
Yeah.
manner, time as well. So, time and tide wait for none. They don't care what is happening to you, what is the repercussion on you. It is like it will come, it has its own period, and it will move. So, the entire theme of this particular chapter, this photograph, is time and tide wait for none. Time and tide wait for none. All of you can write it at the top. In fact, you can write it at the book also, in the book also. Right? Now, coming to the main poetry. Let me share the poetry with you. All of you, if you have a book, you can go to page number, if I'm not wrong, 11. Fine? Page number 11. In fact, Arumita, are you there, beta? Arumita?
On page number.
Page number 11.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the poetry. I will read it aloud for you first, and then maybe, okay, Arumita says her mic is not working. So maybe Vani or Vanshika, any one of you, can, after me, can you
Yes,
just
ma'am.
read poetry aloud? After once I read it, you read the poetry aloud, the whole poetry. Okay. Now coming to the chapter, a photograph by Shirley Toulson. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so, all three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face, my mother's. That was before I was born. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. Some 20, 30 years later, she had laughed at the snapshot. See, Betty and Dolly, she'd say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past. Mine is her laughter, both weary with the labored ease of loss. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. It's silence, silences. So read, one of you, either Vani or Vanshika, please read the poetry aloud, beta.
Ma'am, whole poem.
Now both of you, once Vani, once Vanshika.
The cardboard shows me how it was when two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet.
So read the whole thing, whole poetry.
Some 20, 30 years later, she'd laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she'd say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter, both wry with the labored ease of loss. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as the girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. It's silent silences.
Yeah. Next. Yes, beta. Continue.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
again, we have to read the whole poem.
Recite the whole poem again.
Okay, ma'am. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hand, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face. My mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. Some 20, 30 years later, she'd laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she'd say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter, both wry with the labored ease of loss. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. It's silence, silences.
Yeah. So this poetry, it talks about, like I said, memories of childhood. Basically, it talks about the childhood memories. So anybody who can just, after two, three readings that we had done, like we have recited the poetry, I did it, both Vani and Vanshika both did it. Now, can anybody tell me in just a nutshell, like as per you, till now we have not gone into the details. What is the poetry all about? Can anybody tell me? What does it talk about? What else? Yeah, Kanksha, you wanted to say something?
Ma'am, in poem, the author uses lady as a lady's part, like how she uses of
Say your voice clear. Could you just repeat or maybe? Okay, Rishabh, Sanket, what about you guys, beta? Can anybody tell me what have you understood? As per just your understanding. Don't go into what is the poet thinking about and all that. What is your understanding? One recitation which we did, what comes to your mind? Rishabh? No, are you not there?
Ma'am, the photograph is all about mother's childhood, where her family, the cousins, went on a holiday on a beach, and one of the uncles took the picture. And the author talks about how the photo was the past of her mother, and now when her mother is gone, the laughter of her mother has actually passed for the author.
Yes, Bhavya, very good, very nice. Okay, Rishabh says that I am facing network issues. Okay, doesn't matter. So very well put. Now, can any see whenever we do poetry, each poetry till in 11th and 12th both, what we look for, first of all, we look for the theme. Second, we go for the mood and tone of the poetry. So, can you just tell me what is the mood and tone of this poetry? Anyone?
Ma'am,
Nostalgia.
nostalgia.
Okay. What else? What else? The mood is like what? My mood is like, suppose I say nostalgia. The tone of the poem is what? So, is it happy? Is it sad? It is melancholic? What is it? Is happy? Yeah. And anything else that you want to add? In fact,
Accepting.
okay. If you see it very closely, you will realize the tone of the poem is both. It is both, you can say, happy as well as towards the end, it is melancholic or sad. When you see the mother's side of the story, it's quite happy, happy, because she is gone with her cousins and all that. The second part is the tone is slightly melancholic. Obviously, there is a sense of loss here. Now, this poetry, before we begin stanza-wise discussion, it is about this lady, Shirley Toulson. The poetry is by a lady called Shirley Toulson. She deals with folklore of Britain and Ireland. Folklore. Anybody who knows what is a folklore? Folklore.
Ma'am, the
Some
tales of
traditional
the
story.
people.
Yes, yes, the tales which are there, the stories, yes. So the folklores of Britain and Ireland. She is basically from that side of the country. So she talks about Christianity also. She talks about morals. She talks about values. And through folklore, she tries to present. And she also wrote about the journeys by the saints of the early church and all that. Fine. So basically, remember that this particular poetry is autobiographical in nature, like we have already done. Autobiography is somebody who's written about self. So this particular poetry has a reflection, or you can say overtones of autobiography. It is more autobiographical. Fine. Now, this particular poetry shows how time takes its toll on life, and we try to capture moments from life which remain as pictures in our mind. You know, sometimes whatever we have experienced, it is there in a memory and it might faint a little. It might not be very clear towards the end, but it is there, it remains. And we always give those smiles whenever we remember. Or if the memory is sad, then obviously the expression is sad. Now, this particular poetry in this, it talks about change. And change is harsh and bitter reality of life. That is, again, I repeat, time and tide wait for none. And death is the main truth of existence. When we come to this world, we have to go. In fact, nowadays it's not there, but there was a poetry called Seven Ages. In that, they describe about how we began, and then the infant, then the slightly toddler, and all that, and then how it continues till old age and death. So this is something similar. You can say closer, and it talks about the poetess's personal loss. Okay, when death strikes in the form of a mother's death, that is, uh, there is a loneliness, there is a vacuum in her life. It goes for each one of us. It's not just for her. If there is a loss, if we lose something, it creates a lot of loneliness, creates a lot that you can say vacuum in our life. There is a void in our life. So that is what is the poetry all about. Now, coming to the stanza wise, we will discuss. We'll go into complete stanza wise so that it becomes easier. Now, there are certain poetic devices. That's the reason we had a brush with the poetic devices. I'll send you again the poetic devices. You can have a look. But then maximum use of alliteration. Then you have transferred epithet, synecdoche. You will have oxymorons. Then a paradox. All these things are used in this one poetry. You might think it's a small poetry, easier to understand and all that, but then lot of things she has used. Now, can anybody tell me, is there any rhyme scheme in this poem? Anyone? Is there any rhyme scheme in this poetry?
Ma'am, this is blank verse.
Very good. It is blank verse. It is written in blank verse. There is no rhyme scheme as such. So, this particular poetry, we are going to start with it. Now, the cardboard shows me how it was. Now, the cardboard here refers to the mounted photograph. Mounted, why? Because maybe it's hanging on the wall. So, the mounted photograph shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling. So, you just imagine a condition like this, that Shirley Toulson, she is sitting in her living room, maybe. You can just imagine. It's imaginary. The poetry is always full of imagination, emotion, sensitivity, and all that. So you have to keep that thing. Now, what happens? She is sitting on the chair. I'm just plainly narrating it. She is sitting on the chair, maybe a rocking chair to make it more interesting. And she is looking at the photograph which is hanging on the wall, mounted on the wall. And it is, what does it depict? It shows two girls who are there, who are, please underline paddling. Here, paddling is basically taking a stroll on the beach, walking on the beach, moving on the beach, and all that. So, two girls who are there moving along, what are they doing? Each one holding one of my mother's hands. So, it is very memorable for the poetess. Why? Because the girl in question here is her mother. She is a young girl. She is there being depicted in the photograph along with her cousins. She is holding on to them. And why is she doing that? Because, and she is the big girl, some 12 years or so. So the eldest sister, very protective of her younger ones, she is holding on tightly the hands of both the sisters and standing on the beach. And she is the big girl, all of 12 years old. So you can imagine the others are even younger than her. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. And what are they doing? They are in the beach, on the beach rather, and they're holding on to each other's hand and they're smiling just the way nowadays it's slightly different. We have our selfie cameras ready. At that time, they had to take it from the camera by somebody else. And who's this somebody else here? It is the uncle. He's clicking the photograph of all these three cousins standing together on the beach. And what are they doing? The light breeze is blowing their hair, you can say. They are feeling very happy and all that, and a sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. Obviously, 12-year-old can't be a mother to her, but here she's saying that my mother, along with her two cousins, Betty and Dolly, she is there in the photograph, and Shirley Toulson is kind of reminiscing and remembering her cousins, I mean her mother and her cousins, and becoming slightly nostalgic about the whole thing. The uncle is clicking the photograph, and the sweet face of her mother is shown in the picture. And the picture is taken long back, much before that, when the poetess was born. Now, and the sea, which appears to have changed less. Why has the sea not changed much? Because sea is perennial. Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of perennial? What is the meaning of perennial? Anyone?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
what stay,
something
which
that
that
is
which stays
yearly
year
and
long.
goes once a year.
It was quite confusing. One by one, beta.
Ma'am, perennial is something that grows once a year.
No, 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 no.
Ma'am,
Anybody?
what stays the same all year.
Exactly. It doesn't change at all. Sea is a part of nature. Nature keeps flowing. So sea is like perennial, or it is continuing. And the sea which appears to have changed less, meaning sea is perennial. It has changed less and washed their terribly transient feet. Whereas the humans are transient. The human, us, we are transient. Transient means that is not permanent. So sea, because it is the nature, is perennial, or it has changed very less. Whereas humans, they have changed a lot. I repeat again the entire stanza to you. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. Meaning, it is basically saying it is past memories which are sprouting in her mind. In the poetess' mind, past memories are coming up. They are gushing in. They are everywhere. And she's remembering her mother, and the mother is along with her two cousins and her uncle. What is the uncle doing? Clicking photographs. Where are they? They are on the beach, and they are having a gala time, maybe an excursion, a vacation. You can say a short picnic, it could be anything. And where are they? On the sea, which is perennial, which has not changed at all. However, what are they doing? That tide, or you can say the water of the sea, is coming and splashing on their feet, and it is like making it slightly unstable. Have you been to a sea beach? Anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So when you enter the sea, you'll always see that there is no firmness because of the soil. Your feet keep either going in, or there is no balance at all. So that is why it's called terribly transient feet, meaning there is no stability. So when the sea, when the tide, when the entire thing comes and beats on your feet, you feel very unstable. It's as if you're going to fall down, or it will sweep away the entire thing. So that is what he's talking about. She's talking about. Sorry. Now come. I hope everybody, the lines are clear to you. Anybody who's got doubts on anything, please tell me. Then I will come to the poetic devices one by one. I hope all the lines here in the first stanza are clear.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. Now I repeat just once more, last time, that change is the inevitable thing, and change is harsh. Here also, they are showing the same thing, that there is a cardboard or there is a photograph which reminds the poetess of her own life, about her mother and her two cousins who are standing there holding on to each other, and the uncle is taking the photograph, and the last two lines, that is ironical. That is the main crux of the chapter, that particular stanza, I can say. Excuse me. Now, what is that? That he is perennial, or he has not changed at all over the years. What has changed is the humans, the mortals, and the feet is quite shaky. You know, the humans are not static. There is no stability. Once they have come to this world, they are going to go back. So this is the irony. This is the actual thing of life. Fine. So on that, let's move to the poetic devices. The very first line, cardboard. Now, because it is a reference to something in the past, it is called allusion. 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 We have referred also earlier in the poetic devices when we are doing. So, the cardboard shows me how it was. The mountain photograph is the allusion. Now tell me, simple ones are there following that. What are the poetic devices used? Can anybody tell me, Kanak? What are the poetic devices? Which lines suggest that? Anything in particular that comes to you? Tell me in
Ma'am,
this point. Yeah, come again.
ma'am, alliteration, terribly transient.
Terribly transient. What else? There are other alliterations also.
My mother's.
No. What
Ma'am,
else?
stood to
Yes,
smile.
stood still. Stood. Yes, very good. So two alliterations here, one allusion. Now, any other thing? There are two more to go. Now, all of you please write it. The last line, wash their terribly transient feet. Now, these three words, terribly transient feet, it has got alliteration, it has got transferred epithet. Like I said, epithet is adjective. The adjective is not used for the living thing, but for the non-living one, inanimate. Or even to simplify it more, it is written with one noun, but it depicts the other one. Terribly, it should be like terribly transient feet. Meaning is terribly here is attached to the humans here. Feet. The terribly transient feet, that is transferred epithet. And feet is connectivity. It's a part. It's not the whole thing. Just a part of is written. The feet denotes the entire human existence. Not just the feet, but the entire human existence is depicted. So, connectivity. One is transferred epithet, one is connectivity, and of course, alliteration. So, three things here together. I repeat again, the very first line, you have cardboard, which means allusion. Next is, you have alliterations, two of them, stood still to smile, and terribly transient. Then we have, in the last line of this first stanza, we have transferred epithet and connectivity. Connectivity, like I said, and I'll just explain through example, like England won the match by 3 wickets. We don't say English team or English cricket team. We don't say that. We just say England and it is understood. So a part of it, not just a whole thing is mentioned, but a part is mentioned and the meaning is clearly understood. Here, feet. Feet is not just the feet of a person, but the whole human existence. That is why it's connected. Fine. So, am I clear till now? All of you, have you written it down? I'll send it, don't worry, but otherwise also, have you written it down? Yeah? Have you understood it, all of you? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Now, coming to the a few questions we can discuss, and then the next stanza we can take up. Yeah. Now, here, like I said, whose sweet face is referred to and why? Can anybody tell me whose sweet face is referred to and why? Anyone?
The poet's mother.
Okay. And why? Yeah. To depict the innocence of the girl. You can just write depict the innocence of the girl and who's just 12 years old. Okay. Now explain the meaning of terribly transient feat. In simple English,
Unstable feet.
yeah, basically, human life is also not very permanent. It is not permanent, it is transient. And also, if in simple way, if I explain, the feet is going to outgrow their present size. Now they are small children, they will outgrow and become adults later. So both the things you can imply. Fine. Now we'll come to the next stanza. Just one more I will take up and then we can wind up. Now, some 20, 30 years later, she had laughed at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she had say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The ski holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. Both vary with the labored ease of loss. Now, so I repeat, some 20, 30 years later, she had laughed at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she had say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter, both vary with the labored ease of loss. Now, can anybody tell me with your understanding and with one stanza in the background, what is the meaning of this one? Anybody?
Ma'am, now the poet's mother is looking at the snapshot and she reminds us about her past, the nostalgia she had about that picture, and then the poet talks about how she is suffering the loss now that now the poet has lost the laughter of her mother, the same way the mother had lost her childhood.
Very good, very good. Okay, I'll come to that again, but let me just give you a brief thing here. All of you, if it is visible to you, the PPT, just a rewind of the about the poet. Shirley Toulson was born on 20th May 1924 in Henley on Thames. Thames is the river. So she was born near Thames, England. She was a poet, she was a teacher, educational journalist, editor, and the author of lots of books. She had a huge passion for writing, which she took as a career and served as the editor for many magazines in Britain. She died at the age of 94. Now, the poetry, it is in this poem, Shirley Toulson recalls her mother while looking at a childhood photograph when her mother was 12 years old or so. Her mother has been deceased 12 years ago and she cannot explain her grief on her mother's loss. So basically, this is a very touchy, you can say, very touching kind of thing where she misses her mother desperately. It has autobiographical element. Deceased here means somebody who's no more. So basically, talks about a childhood photograph, looking at it, all kinds of memories, the memories gush in, and she remembers that. Now, the explanation also, I'll share this PPT with you so that it makes your task easy. Now, they go on for a small vacation, I can say, and there, both apart from the mother, there are two cousins who are there, and the uncle is clicking the photograph for posterity, basically for later life. And the mother's face is very beautiful. In fact, you'll be, it's a fact that for each child, the most beautiful face is always the mother's face. It's nothing to do with the physical appearance of the mother. How she doesn't need to be an Aishwarya Rai to be loved or cared by the children. And the same goes for the mother. For her, every child of hers, it is most precious. She doesn't have anything like my child should have looked like the other one. It is always like my child is the best child, and she always dotes on that person. So this is the poetry all about in the first stanza. I'll take up the next one in the next class. Any question that you have in mind, please tell me. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah, Shashwat, are you there, beta? Is it clear with you?
Yes, ma'am, it is clear.
Okay. Okay, then I'll wind up the class today, and next tomorrow we'll complete this poetry as well as I'll take up a question answers and also maybe the last paragraph where last answer where we explain about paradox and all that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.